It's not
any inside jokes.
Inside jokes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's a bunch.
J2C.
Wow.
All right.
Hit me with J2C because I don't know this one.
We are at Justice with the Commandos.
36 Commandos.
Right.
I am the youngest.
This is his first deployment with us.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
Absolutely the cheeriest.
And we had was it a team computer or was it just your computer?
It was
a computer. Just
it was
had
a
to be
team
in there.
computer.
Yeah. So Jimmy had this habit of whenever there was a photo of one of the fellow teammates where his hand happened to be in a precarious location, whatever, he was saying hi or whatever, Jimmy would draw a symbol in the hand.
Would you say it was a phallic symbol?
Here's the thing.
Extremely.
I was not doing that on my own accord. I was commissioned like a hitman. So I was just being professional. Like I didn't have no emotions behind that.
Right.
I wasn't trying to put a dick in somebody's hand constantly. So I love that guy.
Yeah.
But a commission is a commission. A hit is a hit.
That's right. Well, one time there just happened to be a picture of Jimmy with two hands like this.
I was like this, which is worse.
That's the same.
It's much easier to go like this.
Jimmy Two Cocks.
And we drew there, and that's where the name J2C, Jimmy
Some
Two Cocks.
amplifying information on that whole story.
Yes, I was the one that drew that.
So, firstly, I'll reiterate, I was a hitman.
You were commissioned. I get it.
And
It's
it was
just a job.
systematic.
It's
People
just a
would
job.
come.
Was this a Larry Stent thing? Was he doing this? Was he paying you to do
Larry
this?
never commissioned me.
Don't give
no.
up your source. Don't give up your source, bro.
He didn't. But he enjoyed them, I'll tell you that. Because I remember he would love to see the reveals of them for sure. So the only reason why I was good at that was I would have to take fisheye camera lens footage from CTRs and flatten them out so that people could assess possible breach points better instead of seeing a fisheye lens on a door or a gate. So I was really good at Photoshop. Really good at Photoshop. So people exploited me and I became a digital photo hitman. Now, specifically the J2C thing came out when there were a bunch of photos of Sue LaRue in a turret. Someone hands him a Monster or a Red Bull, and the combat camera guy took a series of photos in sequence. As it's coming up, he tastes it. It was warm, and he retracts from it in disgust.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the opportunity given when that thumb drive slides
That's a
across?
gold
You had me at Sue LaRue.
Right. That thumb drive comes across and it's a hit. It's obviously a hit.
Yeah.
Stick it in there. I review the base products to modify and I'm like, I'm gonna do this one left-handed.
It's easy day.
This is easy. And man, did Sue enjoy that Red Bull replacement afterwards. So when that comes out, Mike Manthe, I think. Mike Manthe?
Manley.
No, Manley?
Manley?
Yeah, man, this sucks.
Yeah, the 535 team
Correct,
sergeant.
3-5 team start. I feel like it was Mike who was like, help me paste those up everywhere because there's a command visit tomorrow.
Yeah.
And Bob Kelly and
I love Bob Kelly, by the way.
and Mario Vigil show up with the USASOC command team.
Of course.
Sergeant Major Mike Hall, Regimental Sergeant Major Mike Hall. And I forgot, I think it was Bargewell or somebody was using, and freaking Sue was everywhere in every bathroom. And Steve Zenda was not pumped up about that. So, because of that, I'm completely unprofessional on Steve's part coming after the hitman.
Yeah, I concur.
He should have went after who put the hit on Sue.
But you're
Not
not
the
giving
hitman.
that up. You're not giving that up.
giving that
It's
information
not
up.
my
so
problem.
No.
It's not my problem. So Steve was upset about that because, it was his task force
Yeah.
that was now looking goofy. And he took it upon himself to take off my thumbs and pinkies and replace them with humongous penises.
Jimmy
Two of them.
Cocks.
Right. Yeah,
Wow.
that's it. That's how that
Jimmy
came. It's J2C.
What about you? Any inside jokes? We're not getting a whole lot from the more modern side of the company.
No, it's because I talk too much.
Well, it's because we overlap so much, and I'm trying to think inside jokes. What about hold on. I think I've got something here. This is also new.
Sure.
The videos from the south side of the airfield.
I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
All the company videos you guys made.
Oh, wait. Oh, you're talking about Missoula.
Was that in Missoula?
Yeah. So this is Troop 1. Mm-hmm. This is Troop 1. I did a free fall train up, and it was up there. It was like 29,000 on one of these jumps. And my ruck strap slipped off my O2 bottle. So now I had a asymmetrical ruck.
That sounds fun.
That put me in a massive spin, and I tried to counter with everything. And finally, my final counter position was so delicate that when I started to practice ripcord pull, I would just go on my back. Again. Luckily, I had all that altitude. So I was like, all right, I know what position to get in to stabilize, but I don't know how to PRCP. I've rehearsed failures over and over. I still have altitude. And then I was like, I'm just going to Cobra Strike that sucker. I'm just going to Cobra Strike. Bam! So when I got to pull altitude, and that position was awkward. That body position was all over the place. But I held it, and then it was like when I saw like pull altitude, Cobra Strike didn't matter. My main grabbed my arm and jacked up my shoulder. So point is, the 08-09 Missoula trip with Troop 1 that I was looking forward to so much, I was on the IL. I was on the injured list, and I was a striker gunner for the first half of that deployment.
Hell yeah.
Lots of boredom as a striker gunner. So in my chew was Tom Kerr, who was an attachment from another part of group as a striker driver. Travis Hall, who, same thing, he was a striker driver. And Ryan Pfefferly, Troop 2, back-to-back volunteer to Missoula to be a striker driver or gunner as well. So that was in my chew. Mm-hmm. And we were, weather, lack of availability of ISR equated to low op tempo, lower than normal. Anyone would have died for that trip, but lower than every night type op tempo. Mm-hmm. So we made videos, and I believe that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great videos. Coolest videos. Super funny. But probably the coolest one was Future Sif. You ever heard
Future Sif. That's where I was going with it. Yeah.
All right. So somebody's got a copy out there.
It's out.
Yeah,
it's out there.
You can get it from that thread, that signal thread, the company signal thread. But the squadron commander, we were working for D Squadron when it just formed. And that squadron, the funniest thing in the whole wide world, dude. This is hilarious. So our chew would make this great video. We'd film outside, props, and integrate as much cool, funny things as possible. But we would show them once a week at the meeting, the daily meeting once a week. So in the greater jock, coming from the SIF section, it was hilarity and buckled over laughter for 5 minutes,
right,
once a week. And so they caught on. The rest of the task force caught on that's what we're doing, whatever. So weather came in, and we had a lot of outside scenes we could not film for this awesome, awesome video called Future Sif. It was crazy. I had diagonal power belts. It was a future, and like there was special effects and digital. It was super corny.
It's great,
but it's awesome. It was awesome. Well, it couldn't get to completion fast enough, so we had to skip a week. So Kelly Coppage was the troop commander at the time, and Kelly was like, "Hey, Jimmy, you guys we're gonna show video this week?" And I was like, "Dude, we can't. We're not finished. There's outside scenes, and the weather's screwing us up, man, because we're there in the wintertime." And he was like, "All right, cool." And in that conversation, somebody said, like, "Man, that would be funny if you guys got the squadron commander to cooperate, to be a." And at the time was this guy. I won't say his name. I don't know what he's doing these days, but he was a massive man, the biggest man in that country, I guarantee. And he talked like Arnold Schwarzenegger with a freaking massively lower tone and 2 packs a day. Like he'd talk like a freaking monster. It was super intimidating, large, squadron commander. And someone made a joke. It'd be funny. And Kelly Coppage, massive balls on Kelly Coppage in so many ways. It stuck in his head. right? And I saw him. Like, just like, yeah. Well, after the meeting, I went up to Kelly and I was like, are you thinking what I'm thinking? And he was like, I'm going to go find out if he's in. So I stayed in the back of the jock and he went up to the commander, or he went to the OPSO first. And the OPSO was like, oh yeah, let's ask him, right? So the OPSO and Kelly have now approached this man who's sitting at his desk, and his laptop is like this. I mean, that's how big he is, right? And he's like this on the laptop. And Kelly's here, and that OPSO was here. And I'm in the back of the jock, like at a distance. And the OPSO says, sir, you know, the SIF guys do this weekly skit thing, and they have a role for you on this one. Would you be interested in participating? And these two 03 majors are right here, and this humongous 06 is typing on his laptop. And he goes like this. He goes, and the OPSO looks at Kelly and goes, he's in. Just from him going like that.
This assassin, this giant assassin.
The last night they were in country, because there's overlap.
Yeah.
The last night they're in country, we were all buzzkilled because he had not had time. Like there was structured conversation about this. He had not had time to hang out with us to film his scene. And literally the bird's there to pick him up. And he told the bird to wait. And he came and filmed his scene.
That's sick.
I saw him at Tier 2 conference 4 or 5 years later. I was standing, I didn't have a seat at this huge conference. I was standing there like watching the slides, and this massive hand like comes in front of my face, and he goes, I better not be on YouTube. And I like looked over and I was like, oh, hey, sir, like that. He's like, I better not be on YouTube. And I was like, oh, you're not.
You're not, nor will you ever be, sir. Yeah.
That one was funny, man.
Yeah.
That was great.
That's cool stuff.
Yeah.
Switch to do us a little switch there. Let's see. War stories with lessons. Pick one mission that shaped you.
I'm not going first.
I'm not going.
I'm going first. Afghanistan. You know, I'll admit this. A15 was really used as a ranger company in Afghanistan. We just did raids. You know, I forgot how many we did, whatever. But there was one raid. So the compound, I forget, I think it was Gardez maybe. The compound was like this. It's like a castle, and they had a big courtyard, and then all the rooms faced into, you know, the doors faced into it. So we breached in and all that, and our calling card was fucking flashbang in one of the rooms. Just happened to have hay in it every time, and we set the place on fire. You know, that was But I can remember after Objective Secure watching an image because of the fire. I could see an image walking from a full kit, and it was Sean Finn. You remember Sean Finn? Of course. Full kit walking to where all the women and men were lined up. We had them all lined up, and it was Sean carrying a baby in his hands because he cared, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the epitome of what we were about. So he could take it to them so they could take care of it.
Yeah.
We weren't. It wasn't cold-blooded just because the towers fell, you know. We still cared, you know, that kind of thing. And I saw that silhouette of him carrying that, and I've got that in my head today. I cannot get that out of my head, you know what I mean?
Bro,
of him carrying that across the compound, and then you have the, you know, the fire showing his, you know, and there was a really great image, you know. So that's the one mission that I carry with me everywhere I go.
Can I jump in on this?
Absolutely.
Bro, it is profound to hear you say that, because literally the first mission I ever did in combat, kind of similar thing, but the person that, like, I'm a Ranger private, right? It's just a murder machine with a leash, right? That's what.
Barely a leash.
It's barely a leash, right? And.
Which is badass.
Yeah, it is. It's a necessary thing.
It's really just one strand of 550 cord guts.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's very thin.
One gut.
But I say that to say this same kind of thing. Kid comes out, like, has a cloth like wrapped around it out of this house or whatever, and I'm like, Kurt, what do you, Sergeant Donaldson at this time, ended up being regimental sergeant major. Staff Sergeant Donaldson gets up out of position and picks this child up, barely walking, and takes it back to the father. This is like, we're on Mars, bro. This is my first time like on the ground in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And I watched that happen, and it shaped who I was as a person and as a soldier. You know what I mean? So that's pretty wild that you kind of had the same.
Yeah.
same
And I
thing
remembered
going
it
on.
when I got to Iraq as a troop sergeant major. You know, we were in the habit of, and I think we inherited it from third group when we relieved B-23. That's who we relieved. That the front door gets blown in, regardless.
Yeah.
Front door gets blown in.
Yeah.
Well, for some reason, I wasn't comfortable with that because it was wintertime. Where do they sleep? They all sleep in the living room. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And there were kids getting hurt. You know,
Yeah, of course.
everybody's asleep. No
Yeah.
reason to blow the door in with, you know,
Yeah.
high explosives and all that.
Yeah.
I understand we have a mission. We're also SF guys.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So, you know, I carried that with me, and I still carry that scene of Sean carrying that baby across that compound.
I think, man, honestly, I think that's part of. You guys remember all the tests you took in selection and all that shit. Then you're dog ass tired. You just come in from the court, and that's when they hit you with all the mental stuff. I think that there's somewhere in that algorithm there. I think that there's a scale in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it takes a certain type of person, like a guy that might perform well at regiment may not perform well in that role, or a guy that performs well at CAG may not perform in the role, because I think it takes a level of personal versatility, and I hate to keep beating a dead horse, but it's the throttle, man. You have to have empathy, and you have to have compassion, and you have to have all of those things. Other side of the coin needs to be fucking like hungry and a hunter.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think I always wonder about what do the numbers look like from that thing, man?
Right.
From all those tests and shit, you know. But I'm sure
that would be interesting to see that.
it would be interesting to see. I wonder if it's probably not still.
It's not.
What about that mission?
there's a
piece,
guy.
Jimmy.
What's that? Oh, so pick one mission that shaped me, and it did go sideways, and it did teach me something. I don't really get chills. It probably deserves it. For some reason, I don't get it. Solder City, we're going after Solder's spokesperson. It's Troop 2, beginning of 07. And
After Mookie's actual.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was my troop, Bravo Company Troop 1 ICTF, and it was Alpha Company Troop 1, whose advisor was Big Mike Bowman. Yeah. And of course, we were both the alert troops, and the initial point of interest was Dry Hole. On one side, this massive mosque complex, residential. So we simultaneously hit a residence next to another residence, my troop, his troop, Dry Hole. Whoever was the ground force sergeant major at the time, I forgot who it was. I think it was Kirkwood. That dude, whoever it was, I forgot. I think it was Kirkwood. Was like, hey, no, it was not. I think it was a SEAL, actually. I think it was, they flipped a SEAL or something into it. Either way, that guy was like, hey, Mike, your troop needs to SSE both Dry Holes while Jimmy flexes. And there was an emerging location given to us. That information landed straight in the middle of the road. So what I told my younger counterpart, SEAL counterpart, was like, hey, you're going to take 2 cells to the left of that point, to that house. No, I would take to the left. And you would take 2 to the right. And when we got down there, as planned, as briefed to the GFC, we split. My building was 1 level. We got to LOA super quick. 1 fighting age male. Definitely was not our dude. And before transitioning everybody to SS post-assault, pure post-assault, my SEAL counterpart across the street, like a bitch, came up, which he's a great dude. I love him to death even today. But he did sound pretty pretty light in the loafers on the net because he just got shot in the back.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm shot. And it was pretty embarrassing. Right? But that cued me to like push on my peltors, hear him say that. And then I told everybody in the house, like, hey, we're done here. We're flexing across. I knew there was only one other American across the street. Two, there was a combat camera somewhere floating around. And I think,
Creel.
no, different guy.
Okay.
This guy was there for a moment. Trey actually fired him. But bottom line is, part of this is pretty funny, actually, because when I came up, that place was just freaking bullets coming out of that house, you know. What had happened was they were attempting to set up a breach, and they were too loud, and the guy inside just started, like, going through mags.
It happens.
Right. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, my Navy SEAL counterpart had his back to a window and got smoked in the back. An intel dude got shot in the inner thigh.
Gosh damn.
Yeah, I did he got shot in the inner thigh, and then an ICTF kid just out of OTC got shot under the plates and took a knee in full security. Hit a freaking AK round in his belly.
I've seen those two. That's so strange.
Yeah. And anyway, I think that was his first target ever in his life. Anyways.
I guess this is how this is supposed to go.
Right.
They didn't tell me this in OTC.
Taking a knee, full security while this massive firefight right behind me. But when I ran up there, I ran right past Tripp. Tripp was like, what the hell? And actually in the AR, I got hammered in the AR for flexing without telling Tripp, which I owned it. I made a mistake. I should have, but it was across the street. I mean, it was like right there. You
Jimmy,
know, I know.
still wrong.
I know. I was wrong. I owned it. But when I got up to the courtyard, I mean, it was like bullets flying out of there. When I got to the courtyard, I just poked my head in just to assess like how to solve this problem. Like, what is the problem?
Yeah.
You know, and as I looked around, I saw the window that Jimmy Navy, his name was Jimmy as well. Jimmy Navy was underneath of it, like fetal in the hurt locker, and pulling cross coverage. And that window had the most volume coming out of it. But pulling cross coverage was this guy, Mike, this Navy guy, big dude named Mike. And I looked at him and I was like, man, like, you are not solving the problem. The problem is the volume of fire coming out of there. The problem is your casualties, and the proximity of volume fire to casualties is not acceptable. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. And I was like, all right, that's the first problem to solve. He's not solving it. Let me occupy his space and solve it. So when I came up to him, he was on repeat, like a broken record, like a skipping CD or whatever. He was saying, give me a grenade. He was pulling cross coverage, or he was pieing it off, I should say. And he was like, give me a grenade, give me a grenade, give me a grenade. And I was like, what a dork. So I grabbed him. I was like, Mike, move out of the way. And I physically moved him, and he rolled out of the way. And I started to pie it off, and dude's smoking mags through that window. And as I pie it off, first thing I think is, hey, give me a grenade. It's like he was right.
He was made a correct assessment.
He was just, no one was giving him what he needed. He needed the right thing.
Yeah.
He was asking for the correct thing.
He chose correctly.
But I was judging him for that split second, you know, in assessment. I was like, what a nerd. Get out of the way. And I was like, well, I do need a grenade.
Turns out
he was right. So he hands me a grenade. Well, he had done all that weird taping of the stupid stuff. And so I tried to flick a safety clip. I tried to save the thumb safe. Yeah, the thumb safety thingy. I definitely pulled a pin. I didn't cook it, nor could I have. I just didn't realize it. It was taped. Spoon was taped on a quick release.
Right. Yeah.
But I threw that unpinned, unclipped, taped grenade in there.
Oh, no.
And I was like, it should be solving the problem, and it didn't.
It has not solved it.
And I was like, what the hell? So I had a frag grenade on my back, on my belt, and I pulled that out, threw it, calmed that dude down, grabbed Jimmy, pulled him out of the way, or pushed him out of the way, actually. He became far more masculine face to face at that point. He started talking like a SEAL, not like the guy on the net. And he was like, dude, how bad is it? I was like, yeah, you got a bullet hole like in your spine, below, like right below the plates. Long story long is, patch him up, call Band-Aid, pill pack, and I'm stuffing the shrimp tail stuff in there, the hemocon stuff in there. And stable enough, they still couldn't make breach. Tripp had come in and set up a call out. I had ran across breach, like for real, Gerber tool, cut down on the intel guy, stuffed him. Tourniquet. That was another part of the AR. Got hammered. Anthony Deerdorf just unraveled on me in the AR. He was like, bro, why didn't you use a tourniquet? Because I used dude's sling. Because I had one on the front and I had one on my back in my IFAC. And there were so many bullets. It's like, if you didn't bring your own freaking tourniquet, bro, I'm going to use your sling because there's too many bullets. Like, you should have brought your own, you know? And it was adequate. You know, it stopped the bleeding. But he didn't have a sling anymore. You know, he didn't care. He was sucking. Anyways, in the end, call out happens and there needs to be a flex to the backside. I flexed to the backside. Donnie Bowen, I did not know if I would have a security guy when I went to set up breach. And I called for one. I called for support. And Donnie came out of a truck. And it was the most soothing feeling in the world. Because it wasn't going up to a normal breach. It was a long, enclosed breezeway that terminated in the breach I needed to get through. So you're going down there to set up a breach. And this was already a very dynamic target. And I was like, I need support. And Donnie came and I was like, oh, this feels great. Like, it was a weird feeling to feel that good about it. Deserved to feel that good. So we went all the way down there and he was my security guy. I put it up. We went in. Long story long is I went across the courtyard to an open door with 3 ICTF assaulters. And in there was a pile of humans under blankets, all females or children, except for one man. Solder spokesperson.
No kidding.
Yeah, and he was holding a Navy AKM, Iraqi Navy AKM, and a little baby. And, you know, like, visible indicators that your sector secures, weapons down, ready to move, right? So it's like self-correcting, getting all that information, like everybody's weapons down. All right, there is an open threshold to the right. It's time to move. Well, I had a shot call on him because he popped out of all that. And I saw him pop out, and I called shot after I saw him in the gun. And I called shot, and that was my LP. Now, I'll tell you this. Obviously, put 2 rounds in that guy, like neuro, right? The specifics are slightly embarrassing, though. So I was running EOTech. You guys can imagine how much we all trained on holdover. I let it fly on the dot, so I actually put 2 through his mouth.
Damn.
And one chipped his teeth. And if you did not see the chip on his tooth, you would not think. But the point is, which I guess the common thread here is babies. But
that's wild.
What impacted me the most was and I can still see their demeanor and their look. They were absolutely relieved that man was dead. You know, those women were. But at the same time, I felt like they should have been more concerned about the child. Because I just zipped 2 5.56 75 grains
right past the baby.
And they weren't visibly that concerned about the child. But I remember and that guy had sat up, but that neuro shot like froze him. Like I had to literally peel his fingers off of that baby and that AK. But that made an impact on me because of a couple things. And we kind of almost touched on it before. I always felt like when I was stacking up on a door, in my head, I knew confidently that I would default to what I trained on the most with muscle memory, repetition, and confidence came from there. However, at the threshold, like getting ready to go in, I wouldn't be pumping myself up, but I would tell myself, sometimes I think it was subconsciously, but sometimes consciously, like, all right, no other option. But as soon as you get in there, you got to win. You have to win. As soon as you get in there, you have to win. And like, this is the only time before the requirement that I can even think that.
Right.
And when I would stack up and like, even when mechanically I'm doing all the things to do the right things, as soon as that squeeze came and before I went in, I was thinking like, I have to win, you know? And I feel like that was more reinforced after that mission, 1. And 2, the AAR, man, I was like hammered on the AAR because I didn't use my own tourniquet on that guy. I cut his sling and cranked him on that. I didn't tell the GFC that I was flexing across the street, but I flexed anyway. I felt rushed to flex because I was certain there was only one other American there. And that was that guy, Mike, that SEAL. But I need a grenade guy. So in the AR, hammered. Now the funny part about all this is, maybe a year later, Mike Bowman and I go down to the East Coast to do SOP scrub with the inbound Navy EOD guys we're getting ready to take to Team SIF
Love
mission.
the Navy EOD
Love
guys.
them. Love them. Absolutely
1,000%.
The best EOD guys, I'll say that.
Yes.
Hands down.
I'll say that the best EOD guys are the Navy Tier 2 SIF EOD guys, easily. That said, we went down there for the EOD SOP scrub just to get them integrated earlier. And Mike Bowman was like, hey, let's go to SEAL team whatever and see the dudes we just deployed with, you know. And we went over there and ran into one of the officers who ended up being the GFC for Geronimo, for Bin Laden, actually.
Oh, wow.
And he was a good dude on our trip as well. Good dude. The best of the SEAL officers was this guy for sure. Mm-hmm. We ran right into him. And I'm like, hey, where's Jimmy Navy, my counterpart that shot the bat? And he was like, oh, he works at the M3. I'll go get him, you know. The crazy thing about that story is when we went back in the wire, you know, we went to the MASH, dropped him off, dropped off the 2 ICTF guys, and then we went to Area 4. So we went green zone, dropped him off, we went to Area 4. Now it's time to go to sleep, you know. It's now like 5 o'clock in the morning or so. I got woken up early by a runner from the jock that came over and said, hey, there's a guy in Germany on the phone for you. And that was Jeff Thompson. Jeff was the SFLNO in Germany. Yeah. And he's like, hey, man, drama. He's like, the guy that you guys dropped the MASH, he's already here in Germany. And the Navy criminal investigation people are activated on like this investigation into how he got shot because the surgeon has pulled out green tip.
Really?
Right, which SSC was AK all day.
Yeah.
Like there's no M4 in that house. There's a bunch of M4s outside the house on our task force, obviously.
Yeah.
So they were like fratricide, blue on blue, right? And he was giving me the heads up. So I went and got Joey. I woke Joey up and I was like, hey man, this is CCIR. Mm-hmm. And Joey was like, all right, get Trey, get Trip, and get them. Right. So I went and got them, and Trey was like, wasn't there a combat camera on the, and I was like, yeah, I don't know where he was. But yeah, or I don't know where he is. And they're like, all right, find him. So we bring the footage in, the rounds coming out of the house were hitting the security bar on the window. NCI, whatever, those Navy dudes fly in from Germany, get on a conventional patrol, go into Solder City and take paint samples off of the bars.
No kidding.
And they were green. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So they automatically assume green tip.
Yeah.
No, to see green tip though, that's a penetrator.
Yeah.
You know, that's what the green tip is.
Yeah.
You know, it's steel penetrator.
Yeah.
Right. It's a special material. And they didn't even test for that. They just saw green and...
Well, the green
that
on that fragment, that green paint is what told them that.
Yeah.
Oh, we're down.
They just went by that. They didn't go by the material. Just the green paint.
Right.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Wow.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the funny part of all this is, fast forward, we're in Virginia Beach at Norfolk, and we've now ran into one of the bros, SEAL bros from that trip, and he goes and gets Jimmy Navy, right? The one that got shot in the back. And Jimmy comes out. He's in physical therapy and stuff. Big hugs. Great dude. I hit him up every once in a while. He ended up doing great things with like sensitive activity stuff in the Navy and I believe in other areas of the government. But he was like, hey, so how'd the rest of the trip go for you? Because he was invested. He was a great SEAL.
Yeah.
Even in the capacity of like CT FID advisor, he was great. Very receptive and a sponge.
Yeah.
I could talk about this guy all day long, but I won't. Point is, though, he says, you know, how was the rest of the trip? I was like, went great. You know, like, I'm sure you can imagine. It went great or whatever. And I was like, so what happened when you got back? He's like, you know, obviously I'm up there in Bethesda or wherever, the hospital or whatever. And then I come down here, I'm in physical therapy. And I was like, cool. I was like, what else? He's like, I got a Purple Heart and I got a Silver Star for that night. And I was like, you got a Silver Star for that night? And he's like, yeah. He's like, did you get an award for that night? I was like, I got my ass chewed in that AAR. I was like, you got a Silver Star for getting shot in the back.
Yep. Let's go back to the recording over the network.
You know, like, so it was kind of like, it was hilarious.
I got hit.
Well, you know, like I couldn't even tell you what awards I have. Like, I don't know. I don't care about those. But the funny thing was the difference.
Yeah.
And how
command perception.
Yeah, like, dude, I was hammered on the AR. Like, I was not getting an award for that. I flexed without calling the GFC.
Yeah.
I didn't use a tourniquet on a man.
Yeah.
You know?
On a real man. Yeah, dude.
I mean, I whatever. Of all the things I did do on target, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That I did good. It was just the things I did bad, which is, even to this day, it makes an impact on me. Like those are valid points, guys.
Seriously.
I'll never do that again, you know?
I think I wanted to touch on one thing really quickly. I think it's important. Relevance to what we're talking about, empathy and compassion and all those things. It's like they should have been more worried about the child and whatnot. Man, I saw that across. I think their value of life is different than ours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like they grow up and they live in that environment where it's chaotic and people just get they
different.
get schwacked all the time. You know what I mean? And there's no justice system really per se. You know, it's all kind of internal, culture and whatnot. And I think that's where that comes from. And it's like it's grotesque to us, but it's their normal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just wanted to talk about that.
But then again, not like I'm trying to give them credit where it's due, but humans, you know, just people being human. I have seen the human side of them as it applies to the value of life as well. Mm-hmm. I should say the better version.
Of course.
You know, there's good dudes over there.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
Yeah.
There's good humans for sure.
All right.
3 of them.
Let's go to the stuff, the really hard stuff.